Chamber of Commerce. And in 1925, they were deciding about which road that they wanted to back for the road to Homosassa. And I think one of them was down there where Groveland Cleveland is. We always called it Chicken Farm Road. But they decided to vote on the Sand Road right here where it comes into Christian River. And that's when they, you know, sort of widened it and put rock down on it and everything else. Made it a road back then. But that's just in the minutes of the meeting. My grandfather was a secretary of the Chamber of Commerce when they did that.
I read a diary that was published of a lady in Hernando. They had like a boarding house there. I guess several men that night helped move from Lecanto to Inverness. And then they stopped by the boarding house to eat
Yeah.
afterwards and told the story. And she wrote it in her diary.
We going by that clock?
And those two chairs.
Huh?
And those two chairs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They coming?
The only person that notified me that wouldn't be here would be Lynn.
Want to give them 5 minutes or what? Uh-oh.
That's sound room. 5, 10.
Okay, that's fine. I don't have to vote on it, do we?
Can't vote on anything unless you have a quorum.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
And if you were not able to look at the plans that were submitted for the Duval house, I do have the larger ones over there with Mark.
I brought the full-size ones as well.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing it again. No, I looked at it, you know.
Yeah, well, I sent them out PDF in the email so they could see it, and then when I print them out.
It
of
should
course,
also be with your agenda.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
copy with your agenda.
Okay, okay. Great.
Ms. Cynthia's here.
I was just at an event where the Seminoles made some of these chickies.
Yay!
The Seminoles made some of these chicky huts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's who's going to build this.
We started the tab you're buying. You're late.
Hang on, it's not even full. We'll be that way.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Damn it, man.
Did y'all say much?
No,
Okay.
we need a quorum.
We got a quorum now?
They've been messing with things, haven't they?
Well, you got a new chair. My feet didn't touch the floor, so I had to adjust mine.
We're further out in the room.
Well, they all count, huh, isn't it? Oh, there we go.
We have to have 4, right, Mark?
Getting the,
Our board consists of 7, 5 regulars and 2 alternates.
it'd be 3 if it's 5 regular.
Has anybody else's phone been real slow today,
Mm-hmm.
doing goofy stuff?
Does that place have an outhouse now?
No,
Well, because when I went there in, what was it, 1960, that's what I used,
yeah, I'm sure they still have it up through the sixties.
yeah. But no phone book, they had real toilet paper.
No photographs?
No phone calls and that. Yeah, I never believed that one.
My aunt and uncle had an outhouse, and that's fortunately, they never had cornballs.
So we don't have a quorum? We do? Okay.
How long do we give?
There's three of us.
I know, but how much time do we give before you decide that's it?
Well, we were gonna give 5 or 10 minutes to wait till we get a quorum, so since we have a quorum, we can start. All right, I'm gonna call this, meeting to order. Let's stand and do a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll have the roll call.
Paul Greenan,
Present?
Candace Bellamy McPherson,
Present?
Catherine Turner Thompson,
Absent?
Cynthia King,
Here,
Lynn Turk,
Absent.
Mark Hammer.
Here.
We have a quorum.
we have a quorum. Oh, I thought we were waiting for a quorum.
And, now we're gonna have an approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from our last meeting in August.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Hammer, you're up.
So would you like to give your presentation? We're gonna be reviewing, we're gonna be reviewing an application for a permit for the Old Floral City Road, 7801 South Old Floral City Road, better known as the Met House.
I put these together to go over the highlights. It doesn't have everything that's in the package, but the stuff that
All right.
affects the configuration and the materials and that kind of stuff. And I also brought larger versions of the drawings and the artist concept, if you all want to look at those.
Do you have a copy for the record?
Oh,
And just so that y'all are aware, the permit application itself is more of a procedure as required by the county for a permit application.
yes,
The permit
I was gonna tell you that. in just a minute.
application itself does not garner a plans review. As stated for Florida Building Code 102.2, these are exempt structures, being a cheeky hut, and the outhouse structure itself does not require a structure plan review, given its size.
That's good.
Okay.
All right, I'm Vaughn McIntyre. I'm with the Duval Preservation Trust in Floral City. And this review is for a couple of new exhibits for the Duval House and at 7801 South Floral City Road in Floral City. I'm sure you're all familiar with the house. I put a picture of it here. I do want to go over a couple of things, highlight a couple of things. It is owned and managed by the Duval Preservation Trust, which is a 501c3 nonprofit Florida corporation. It's governed by a board of directors. And it's as you all know, it's the oldest surviving residence in Citrus County. The trust was formed by H.D. Bassett, who is the great-great-grandson of Farmy Duval, who was the man who built the house. And he formed the trust with others. And it was pretty much falling down when they got it. So the first phase this last 13 years has been basically shoring up the ground floor and getting it sound, building the new porches and that. So now we're ready for some new exhibits. We need to want to attract more visitors. The next page is this is an old plan. We put this together 3 or 4 years ago. Basically, the thing that's changed, the lower half is a rough layout of the property. We've changed the shape of that path. It is now a U that goes along the east side, down the south side, and back up the west side. And as you can see here, we have planned on eventually want to have a cracker cabin, a cane grinding facility, that kind of stuff. The main thing we want to do is show how people lived in the different ages in this area, and the tools, how they grew their food, how they made their clothes, built their houses, and so on. There was discussion about where to start, and we said, well, we'll start at the beginning. And, this area has been inhabited for probably the last 10, 12,000 years. Most recently, from about 800 till 1530s by the Tomokawa, and then later by the Seminoles. So we picked on the Seminoles because they're the most well-known. We figure more people say, I want to go see a Seminole exhibit rather than Tomoka, which they're not going to know about. So that's how we decided that. The next page is the plot plan. It shows the basic location that both of these exhibits are going to be located in the center of the property. And I've got a bigger one here if you all would like to look at it later. The other factor that went into this is the Seminole have an extensive history in this area, as I'm sure you all know, with several towns being located within 5-10 miles of Floral City. And I've listed them here, and I brought a map drawn by Lieutenant Henry Prince in 1836 that shows 3 or 4 of them where they were located, if you all would like to look at that. And then Tocosti was the Tomokawan village that was located over on Church Lake near the Moonrise Resort. And then this next page is an excerpt out of Henry Prince's book that shows the Cho'ilihadjo, which was the Seminole village that was adjacent to the property, to the Duval Metz House property. If you look at this sign, my guess is that Tom Ritchie has filled in the modern names on this old map, but we think we know that the Duval House property was located somewhere where it says Old Floral City Road in red. That's about the area it was. So it was adjacent to this property. And what I know about Seminole villages, they tended to be kind of scattered out. So if there weren't dwellings located on this property, there probably were fields where they grew corn and other stuff. And if y'all have any questions you want to ask me, fine.
Well, my mind is going to, the Seminoles really didn't come into existence until after the Civil War, isn't that right?
Their history, what you're referring to is the Creeks and the
that's what
folks that
Seminole
came down
means,
from
is
Alabama and Georgia.
Runaway
And they
Creek.
did, but the Seminole will tell you that there were Tomokawa and other leftover that
Miccosukee.
intermingled with them, and so they consider the Tomokawa their ancestors. So their history is that they've always been here, and they're still here.
Miccosukee.
But yeah, what I've read about the creeks coming down, and that really started around the 1700s, late 1700s, and then became more pronounced after the war between the states. Yes. And what we're going to initially build is going to be basically 3 chickees and the basic elements of their family life, which was a cooking chickie, an eating chickie, and then a sleeping living area. And the next page is an artist concept of what that will look like. And the artist actually went and drew the background, took a picture of it, drew the background, and then put the three structures in. And these structures were based on pictures that we picked up off the internet, and also with working with the Atathiki Museum, the Seminole Museum down in Big Cypress Swamp, and also with the builder Ronnie Billy, who is a full-blood Seminole Indian. And he was telling, what his remembered from his grandparents and their houses. And also Patsy West, I'm sure that you all know about, wrote a book. And in the book, The Unconquered Seminole, she made the statement that it's her opinion that the tourist villages in the 1920s and 1930s were very similar to the structures and the living conditions in the 1830s, 1840s, that it was pretty much unchanged until the early 20th century. So that's how we came up with this concept.
Do you have any evidence that any of these huts, chickees, and whatever were in Floral City around that time?
That's an interesting one. If we look on this map, you look at the drawings that Henry Prince made. He made little cabin-like structures with chimneys on them. So I started digging into that, and now I'm wishing I had brought those pictures. That they're actually, most of their living areas, their sleeping quarters, were log cabins or board cabins. Talking to Ronnie and to the museum folks down at the Big Cypress, they said that because of the heat and the cooking and the heat from cooking and that the cooking chickees and the eating chickees were probably open-air thatch huts. And I've got a couple of drawings from Seminole villages of that period, and it shows both structures. It shows the open thatched roof structures, and it also shows the board and log cabins. So this is our opinion that this is probably what it would look like. The other thing we gave a nod to is that most people are going to associate with the chickees, and that by introducing a board cabin, one would be more complex to build of something, and in the area we have, making something big enough to make that realistic would not fit in, because the area we have is fairly limited, roughly being the size of this room. And so once you put 3 chickees in here and you tried to put a 12 by 20 cabin or something like that, we thought it would be too much. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
I've got a question for you. This outhouse, that's gonna be non-functional?
Yes,
Okay.
we hope, yes.
Just checking.
Some kid will run in there.
Yeah, it will be non-functional.
Yeah, I just,
And we're having a debate on how to secure the whole thing, because we
Well-
do have a homeless contingent in Floral City,
Well-
and we're basically building homes, so we can see them
well,
moving in.
but this
So
is
we're-
gonna, when you're showing the chickadees, they obviously weren't there when the Matt's house was built. They
No.
had probably been there
The,
before.
the last Seminoles, the folks
Nobody-
that went
nobody
into the
knows. Everybody's got a
Everglades,
good
they were
guess.
around 1852, 1854.
Right.
All of the other Seminoles had already been moved to Oklahoma, and so Florida was fairly void.
Trail of Tears. And that was done by Florida's first governor,
Was what?
the Trail of Tears.
Oh,
Florida's
yeah,
first
yes.
governor,
Yes.
Andrew Jackson.
Well, it was continuous.
Yeah.
I found out why,
Yeah,
again, reading, I found out about the Treaty of Payne's Landing that the Seminoles signed with the government. And then you talk to them about their claim that they were never signed a treaty with the U.S. government. The 200 folks that went into the Everglades, they never signed a treaty. Everybody who signed a
Right.
treaty wound up going to Oklahoma. And so that's how they,
that's
Coming
why they,
about
that's why they stayed undefeated.
exactly.
Project lead. Got any more questions?
So to ask more directly, the evidence we have are drawings from that period of time that we're using as a foundation for what we're proposing here.
And your reason for putting these on that property is
To increase our number of visitors, and because we are supported by donations, to entice more donations. Because we are a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization. And to preserve, to preserve this into the future. Because of the original board members, almost everybody's over 80. And so what we're trying to do is to attract more younger folks to build a base to keep it going forward and to keep it from being sold and turned into something else.
so this is a tourist attraction.
Yes, ma'am. Yep, already is, along with the
I
museum.
understand the Metz House being such.
The Duval House, yes. Well, there's two houses there. The
Yes.
Duval House was built in 1863. The Metz family lived there from 1935 on. The board has used the designation Duval Metz. Number one, Bob Metz is still alive. And
Yeah,
also.
I don't have a problem with that. I'm just, in my mind, I'm having a problem with these Indian huts being on that property, and it's not authentic. It's what I'm thinking. It's not an authentic thing for that property.
For that particular property, we don't have evidence to show that it is. No, we do not. Because Henry Prince's drawings show that the structures were built on the lake, on Lake Consuelo, on the shores of Lake Consuelo. I can show you the map if you'd like.
How large is the property?
2.5 acres.
Okay. A lot.
You might also tell them about the pathway to the path.
I did. I get what I understand what you're saying. We can't say definitively that there were. Again, what I know about Seminole villages, which I'm learning obviously, is that they tended to be spread out. They intermixed structures, dwellings, and fields.
They may not have been on that specific site where the house is, but they were
They were close, yes.
close
Yes.
in that area, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I serve on an executive board for a state cattlewomen. Right now, our current president is a Seminole Indian, and I was just treated to a weekend at Big Cypress on the reservation.
Oh, yeah?
Got a lot of the history, a lot, and they're always willing to share their history and how it is Florida history.
And, in our mind, we would like to get them to come here and do, presentations and participate in the activities. Us telling the story isn't really what I want to do. I want the Seminoles to feel that they want to come here and tell the story. And we're working on that. We're trying to, build our relationships with the museum and with Ronnie and others.
And around these chickies,
Chickadee.
yeah, they always had the cracker cattle running around.
Mm-hmm.
That they captured, that the Spaniards left behind, so all that kind of
Them and the
fits in the
hogs.
puzzle.
And the
Yeah,
cracker horses.
Yeah,
And the hogs, but they're not indigenous.
so you wanna expand on what the public can come and view
Yes.
and see and learn
Yes.
about Florida history on
Yes.
this site.
Exactly. Yeah, we want it to be an educational attraction. And what we want to teach and what we want to show is through the different years, how people lived, how they coped with their environment.
And definitely, there were outhouses.
Oh, yeah.
So that, the kids will probably get a real kick out of that.
When we do tours through the house, we have chamber pots around, and I tell the kids that don't trip over the bathroom.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah. It was a different day.
yes.
Okay, any more discussion? Ladies?
No, no more questions.
No more? I don't have any.
The next slide I had in here was the Ronnie's business card. In the package, we have his letter stating that he's a Seminole tribal member with a one blood quantum, which means he's full blood. And then we have his letter in there that says that they're going to use all Seminole folks to build the chickies.
I've seen them already.
That's
And,
because they don't need a permit.
they don't need a lot of things we do.
They don't need
To me,
that
that's a
stinking-
benefit.
They don't need that
To me,
stinking permit.
the most important thing is that, we can tell people that Seminoles built these.
Right.
It's like I was talking to them about, folks coming and dressing in traditional wear, and I don't know how they come up. They said, well, you could wear one. And I said, what, you want to put a sign around my neck that says white guy wearing Seminole clothes?
Okay.
They laughed, so anyhow.
Well,
And if you want to go through the outhouse, basically, Marcia Beasley had a video made of the property. And in it, she put in a picture of an outhouse. And she picked it out of this book. And it's the one on the cover. And so she asked that when we do this, tribute, that we make it look similar to this one. And the methodology is we're going to build a structure out of pressure-treated 4x4 and then cover it with reclaimed wood. And I brought a sample if y'all would like to look at it. Yeah, it's typical reclaimed wood. I found a local down in Tampa, coast-to-coast barn wood. So the outside and all of the exposed pressure-treated wood will be covered with this.
You ought to find somebody that's redoing their fencing. It'll be real cheap.
Yeah, this is not cheap.
No, it's not. I've seen them sold for $10 a piece.
They're selling us $8 a board foot. When we do this thing, there's a couple of $1,000s worth of barn wood in it.
that's an outhouse, all right.
Yep.
I know where there's some at.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mark, where are we here?
It's y'all's discussion, it's
Okay.
board's discussion.
All right. Are we through? Would you like to say some more?
No,
I don't have anything else.
Okay. all
I
right.
do have like you mentioned, the homeless faction around Floral City. And there's not gonna be somebody there all the time to watch out for these dwellings, to keep them from being used, even the outhouse. I don't know, I think you're gonna have a problem on your hands with that.
I agree, and I think the board has to deal with that. I'm not a member of the board. I do work for them. I built the kitchen and, trying to do these and other stuff. But yes, I agree with you. They have to address that.
Well,
And I don't know what the solution will be.
in case something really happens bad and there's no way to control it, what you're putting there on the property, it can be taken down. It's not, you know what I mean? If they decided it's a problem, something, it's not something that's attached to the house, that's gonna destroy the house. If it needs to be picked up and hauled off, it can be picked up and hauled off,
It can.
if that comes.
And, you
That's-
know,
That's the way I feel
They
about it.
typically would have the same problem with people, getting into the Metz house or the
Yeah.
Duval house.
Right.
And they haven't had that so far. We don't think people are sleeping on the porch there. They are sleeping on the porch at the museum and the Lions Club.
Little security cameras are kind of inexpensive. They're not like they used to be, so you can
No.
always have one of
Yes.
those active cameras up, and if something happens to be going on, you could nip it in
And,
the
you know, my
bud.
suggestions are going to be, number one, posting it, which makes it legal. And then, yeah, security cameras, fencing, visual barriers, physical barriers. A lot of the property is protected by, undergrowth. Cutting a path through there would take, would take a little bit of effort, and it would be obvious. So, but yes, I'm one of those that voices that concern at the board meetings.
Well, I mean, I feel like if it's not attached to the house, then it can be taken down without any
Oh, sure.
evidence, and,
Yep.
it's not a big, huge structure, and it's movable.
That's
I'm
you know,
happy with it.
fairly expensive, so they need to think, opinion, they need to think very clearly about that.
Y'all ready to vote on it?
I just met this Marcellus Osceola.
Okay. We need to take a vote?
Well, I move to approve your construction
Did I get a
for
second?
your site.
No, I'm not gonna second. You second.
I'll second the motion. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. We have 3 ayes.
Okay. I have among us, to Cynthia's concern, is allowing us to do things that were not specific to that particular property. Does that then create a problem or a precedent for the future, for other things, for other people, that you would find as a concern?
What's that?
I would think
Okay.
it'd just be a case-by-case
Okay,
Yes, yeah.
application.
okay. I thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
And I have the full-size drawings and the map and stuff, if y'all would like to look at them after the meeting.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate what you do to try to share our Florida history.
All right, well, it's now open to the public. Do we have anybody else would wish to speak? Going once, going twice? All right, how about a staff update?
Not really much to speak about. There's no updates, nothing
Okay,
for me to present for this month.
okay. Upcoming meeting,
Our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, December the 1st, 2025 at 4 PM.
Don't let that first sneak up on you.
the first. Okay. Well, this is the first time, huh?
If, you want, I'll check in to see if that wood is still there. It's top boards on a fence, a cattle fence. They're putting an industrial park in there soon, so I know they're probably gonna wanna take the fence down.
Off my hold,
Yeah,
bunch of them. Let's just go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and,
Kind of follow-up question.
we'll talk,
I'm new to this process, what happens next?
huh?
I said, because I'm new to this process, what happens next? Y'all have approved it, so it,
Your permit still has to be issued.
okay? And I'm working with a contractor to get a signature on that, and I'm meeting with him on Wednesday.
Need to get your permit issued.
Okay.
We did this a little bit out of order in order to accommodate the time frame. That's why I wanted to mention that there is not a plan review required by the Florida Building Code.
Right.
It's the formality of the administrative aspect that needs to be completed with some of the information to make the permit whole. So it's still going through the permit submittal process, but there is not a plan review process. So once all of the required information for the administrative aspect is whole and complete, a permit can be issued.
Okay.
Typically, what we would do is the administrative aspect would be completed. The board would do the review, and then it would be, then at that point, it would trigger a plan review.
Okay.
But we don't have a plan review, given the exemptions by the Florida Building Code. So we're kind of trying to, we acknowledge that, but if what isn't taking place today, it would be another 2 months. So we're just trying to help expedite the process through the plan review, or through the
Understandable.
permit aspect.
Yeah,
Okay.
But our decision today goes to the county commissioners, right?
No.
No,
No, it won't have to in this instance, it will not have to.
it won't have to?
No. It
I
will
thought
not-
that was our purpose here. That our okays or whatever having to do with historical things goes to the Board of County Commissioners?
Not in this instance, no.
Maybe you can explain that to me sometime.
Okay.
Not in this instance.
Any more discussions? Anything else? This meeting's adjourned.
Okay.